chasing people who don't want you. Just stop. I know that sounds harsh. I know it hurts to hear, but you need to hear it. Because every second you spend running after someone who ignores you, you are abandoning yourself. You are choosing them over you. And the truth is, they are not even choosing you back. You wake up, and the first thing you do is check your phone. No message, no notification, just silence. And somehow, that silence feels loud. It feels heavy. It feels like rejection without words. But instead of accepting it, you make excuses. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they'll reply later. You lie to yourself just to keep hope alive. Because hope is the only thing keeping you attached to someone who has already let go of you. And that hope is slowly killing you. You keep going back to the same person, the same conversation, the same pattern. They ignore you, you chase. They pull away, you try harder. They give you a little attention, and suddenly you feel alive again. For a moment, everything feels okay. For a moment, you feel chosen. And that moment becomes your addiction. You are no longer chasing them, you are chasing that feeling, that temporary high, that small piece of validation that makes you forget how badly they treat you the rest of the time. And once you understand that, everything starts to make sense.
Because if it was really about them, you would have walked away by now. If it was really about their personality, their looks, their presence, you wouldn't tolerate this level of disrespect. But it's not about them. It's about what they represent in your mind. They represent approval. They represent worth. They represent the feeling of being enough. And you have attached your entire identity to their attention. That is why you can't let go. That is why even when they hurt you, you stay. Because losing them feels like losing yourself. But here's the reality you keep avoiding. If someone truly wants you in their life, you will not have to chase them. You will not have to convince them. You will not have to beg for their time, their attention, or their presence. They will show up. They will make effort. They will choose you clearly, consistently, and without confusion. And if you have to question where you stand, you already have your answer. Look at your actions. Look at how much you give. Look at how much you tolerate. You reply fast. You make time. You adjust your schedule. You think about them constantly. You care deeply. Now ask yourself, do they do the same for you? Or are you the only one trying to keep something alive that died a long time ago? Because that is what this is. You're trying to revive something that no longer exists, and every time you try, you lose a little more of yourself. You think holding on makes you strong. You think staying proves your loyalty. But let me tell you the truth. Staying where you are not valued is not strength. It is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of not finding someone else. Fear of facing the emptiness inside you without distractions.
So you cling to the one person who gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, but never enough to make you feel secure. And that is the most dangerous place to be. Because now your happiness depends on someone who doesn't care about it. Your mood depends on their reply. Your energy depends on their attention. Your self-worth depends on how they treat you. And when they pull away, you collapse. You feel anxious. You feel insecure. You feel like you're not enough. And instead of walking away, you try harder. You chase more. You give more. You lose more. And the cycle continues. Until one day, you look at yourself and realize you don't even recognize who you've become. You've become someone who waits, someone who begs, someone who accepts less than they deserve, someone who is constantly tired, not physically, but emotionally. Because chasing someone who doesn't want you is exhausting. It drains you. It breaks you. It turns you into a version of yourself that you were never meant to be. But here's the part you need to understand. This will not stop on its own. They will not suddenly wake up and realize your worth. They will not suddenly change and start treating you better. because they are already showing you exactly how they feel about you through their actions, and you keep ignoring it. You keep choosing your fantasy over reality. You keep believing in potential instead of accepting the truth. And the truth is simple. They don't want you, not the way you want them, not the way you deserve. And the longer you avoid that truth, the more it will hurt. So what do? You stop. You stop chasing. You stop texting first. You stop waiting for replies. You stop checking their profile. You stop creating scenarios in your head. You stop giving energy to someone who gives you nothing in return.
And I know that sounds impossible because your emotions are involved, because your heart is attached, because you are used to this pattern. But just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, the hardest decisions are usually the ones that change your life. Because the moment you stop chasing, something powerful happens. You create space. Space to think clearly, space to feel your emotions without distraction, space to reconnect with yourself. And in that space, you start to see things differently. You start to realize how much you were overgiving, how much you were overthinking, how much you were settling. And slowly, you begin to take your power back. But it requires discipline, because your mind will try to pull you back. It will remind you of the good moments. It will make you miss them. It will convince you to send that message, to check their last scene, to go back to what feels familiar. But you have to resist, not because you don't care, but because you finally care about yourself more. You have to choose yourself, not once, but every single day. Every time you feel the urge to chase, you choose yourself. Every time you want to text them, you choose yourself. Every time you feel weak, you choose yourself. Because self-respect is not built in one moment. It is built through consistent decisions, through small actions repeated over time, through choosing your peace over your impulses. And the more you do that, the stronger you become. The more you realize you were never the problem. You were just giving your energy to the wrong person. And once you understand that, everything changes.
You stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop settling, and you start becoming someone who is calm, confident, and in control. Someone who doesn't need validation, someone who doesn't wait for attention, someone who knows their worth and refuses to accept anything less. And that is when everything shifts, because the person who once ignored you will no longer have access to you. And for the first time, you are no longer controlled by your emotions. You are in control of your life. So ask yourself, how much longer are you going to chase someone who doesn't want you? How much longer are you going to ignore the truth? How much longer are you going to abandon yourself for temporary attention? Because at the end of the day, this is your life, and you have a choice. You can keep chasing, or you can finally stop and become someone who is worth chasing. The decision is yours. But remember this, the moment you stop chasing is the moment you start winning.